right, so welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be looking at Mahindra Holidays and Resorts India Limited, or as it's better known, MHRIL.
Yeah.
Now, you're trying to get a handle on their recent financial performance, right?
Right.
And you've given us a ton of stuff to go through.
Yeah, we've got a lot here.
Yeah, so we've got regulatory filings and earnings presentation.
Yes.
We've got financial statements.
Standalone and consolidated.
Oh, yeah, standalone and consolidated. Thank you for that.
Of course.
And we've even got the auditor's reports. So this is
the whole shebang.
This is the whole shebang. Yeah, it's
the real deal.
It's the real deal.
This is how you get a real insider's perspective on things.
Yeah.
Not just looking at the glossy brochures, but really getting into how MHRL is actually doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so before we get into all of that, though, just to give a quick overview.
Sure.
For anyone who hasn't experienced a Club Mahindra vacation, which is their flagship brand, they're all about timeshares.
Yeah. Prepaying for vacations at their network of resorts.
Yeah.
And importantly, MHRIL is publicly traded.
Oh, yeah, that's an important point.
On Indian stock exchanges.
Yeah.
So their performance is open for everyone to see.
Exactly. And that's why we're able to do this deep dive.
Exactly.
So we're going to be focusing on their Q3 2025 performance today.
Okay.
And the 9 months leading up to it.
Sounds good.
So that gives us a really good picture of where they stand.
Yeah, and this is where things get interesting. You know, we're looking at how their performance is trending over time.
Yeah, what's the story they're telling?
Right, and it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Uh-oh.
On the one hand, revenue is up year over year.
Okay, so that's good.
Which is great, but standalone profit for Q3 actually dipped a bit.
Oh, so that's the mixed bag part.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that might sound a little bit concerning at first glance, but we do need to look at the big picture.
Right.
And they do have, they've got a pretty sizable cash surplus.
Oh, yeah, over 1,482 crore rupees.
Yeah, so that's not insignificant.
No, not at all.
And they also have a pretty hefty chunk of deferred revenue.
Right.
So that's, money they've already collected.
For future vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of speaks to his solid member base.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like people are committed.
Right. It's like a safety net. You know, it gives them a predictable income stream.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do want to circle back, though, to that dip in standalone profit.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we need to kind of break down
their income sources.
Yeah, where is that change coming from?
Exactly.
So their bread and butter, obviously.
Membership fees.
Membership fees, yep.
Followed by annual subscription fees. And then income from the resorts themselves.
Right. Food, drinks, all the other stuff.
All the experiences.
Yeah.
But looking at their P&L statement.
Yeah.
There are a couple of interesting details that jump out.
Okay, like what?
Well, finance costs have gone up.
Oh, okay.
Do you think that could be because of the rising interest rates?
Yeah, that's possible. Or maybe they took on more debt.
Maybe, yeah.
Something to consider.
And then the other thing is that tax expenses jumped significantly.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it could be changes in tax laws, or the way they're structuring their finances.
Yeah, we need to look into that a bit more.
Exactly. Those are the kinds of questions that investors would want answers to.
Absolutely. All right. So before we dive too deep into those standalone numbers, we do have to remember that MHRIL made a pretty big acquisition back in 2022.
Oh, yeah. Holiday Club Resorts Pay.
Or HCR.
HCR, that's right.
So they are a major player in European timeshares.
Primarily in Finland, Sweden, and Spain.
Okay, yeah. So that was a pretty strategic move for MHRL, right?
Oh, absolutely.
To kind of expand their reach.
Yeah, tap into new markets.
Yeah, tap into new markets.
Adds a whole other layer to the story.
Exactly.
And despite some economic headwinds in Europe, HCR has actually held pretty steady.
Oh, that's impressive.
It shows their brand is strong, and they've got a good mix of offerings.
Yeah, they've got, the timeshare sales, of course, but then
spa services, hotel rentals, even real estate management.
Wow, so they're not just relying on one thing.
Nope, diversified.
Diversified, that's a good place to be.
Especially if one market takes a hit.
Yeah, exactly. So to really figure out how much this acquisition is impacting things,
we need to look at the consolidated performance.
Yes. So that brings together MHRIL and all of its subsidiaries.
The whole group.
Yeah, it gives us that complete view.
Right, and it's actually quite encouraging what we see there.
Oh, okay.
Despite that little dip in standalone profit, the consolidated profit after tax for the 9 months ending December 31st, 2024 shows really strong year-over-year growth.
So as a whole, they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like that HCR acquisition is paying off, at least for now.
So now, no financial deep dive would be complete without checking in with the auditors, right?
Of course not. Got to have the referees of the financial world.
Yeah, making sure everyone's playing by the rules.
Exactly. And in this case, they issued an unmodified conclusion.
Okay, so that's basically a clean bill of health for MHRIL's financial statements.
Like exactly.
But there is a but.
There's always a but.
There's always a but, right.
They did point out an order from the NFRA.
Oh, the National Financial Reporting Authority.
That's the one.
Okay.
Regarding segment reporting and revenue recognition.
So that means MHRIL had to go back and double-check their accounting, right?
Yep, make sure everything was above board.
And they've assured investors that their policies are compliant.
Which is reassuring.
Yeah, but it does highlight the importance of transparency, especially for public companies.
Absolutely. Got to be open and honest.
Yeah. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and take a look at their investor presentation.
Right.
So this is their pitch to potential investors, right?
Yeah, highlighting achievements, growth strategies, their vision for the future.
Yeah, and what are they saying about the Indian economy?
They're painting a pretty positive picture, actually. They're talking about the rise of leisure travel, increased spending on experiences, and the government's focus on tourism.
Interesting.
They definitely see a lot of potential for growth in the Indian market.
Yeah, and they're backing that up with some serious investments, right?
Oh, yeah, big time.
New resorts, expansions.
We're talking new builds near popular destinations like Corbett National Park.
Wow.
And expansions of existing resorts, like the one in Gampadapool.
So they're really betting big on the future of vacation ownership in India.
No doubt about it.
But they're also hinting at something else in the presentation.
What's that?
Evolving consumer preferences.
Oh, interesting.
They're talking about experiential travel.
So they know that today's traveler is looking for more than just a typical resort stay.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really intriguing question.
Okay, I'm listening.
How will MHRIL adapt to these changing demands?
Right. Will they need to offer more than just those traditional vacation packages?
Will they venture into uncharted territory?
That's the question, isn't it?
That is the question.
To capture those experience-hungry travelers.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So this idea of MHRIL branching out beyond traditional vacations, it's really got me thinking.
Yeah, I mean, they're already talking about experiential travel in the presentation.
Right, but where could they go from there? What could that actually look like?
Well, there's one area they're already kind of dipping their toes into.
Okay.
That I find really fascinating.
What's that?
Spiritual tourism.
Spiritual tourism?
I think yoga retreats, meditation programs, even like curated pilgrimages to sacred sites.
So it's like, are they sensing a shift away from those purely leisure-focused vacations?
It's possible, right? I mean, there's a growing desire for something more. Like a deeper meaning, a connection.
Exactly. It's not just about escaping the everyday anymore.
It's about enriching the soul, finding some inner peace.
Yeah.
Connecting with something bigger than yourself.
And MHRL is in a really good position to capitalize on that, right?
I think so.
They've already got the infrastructure, the expertise in hospitality.
Location, I mean, they've got some stunning properties.
Right. And now they can add another layer to that.
Partnering with local spiritual leaders, wellness experts, cultural institutions.
Yeah, creating these really immersive experiences.
Exactly. It's about crafting something authentic, something that goes beyond those typical tourist traps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Imagine, attending a sunrise yoga session overlooking the Himalayas.
Oh, wow.
Or learning traditional meditation techniques from a renowned guru.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Or even participating in a meaningful pilgrimage.
These are the kind of experiences that stay with you.
Yeah, long after you've come home.
Absolutely. It's not just about relaxation, it's about transformation.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, can spiritual tourism really move the needle for MHRIL?
That's a good question.
Can they actually attract a new segment of travelers while still appealing to their existing members?
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
Spiritual tourism, it's not as susceptible to those seasonal fluctuations.
Oh, that's a good point.
People are seeking these experiences year-round.
Right.
So that could give MHREL a more stable revenue stream.
That makes sense.
Plus, it taps into a whole new market of travelers.
Yeah, the folks who prioritize personal growth, spiritual exploration.
Right. They're not just going for the typical vacation.
So they're diversifying, appealing to a wider range of motivations.
Exactly. Not putting all their eggs in one basket.
But of course, success in any new venture depends on execution.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to have to do their homework, invest in the right partnerships.
Craft a brand narrative that resonates with this new audience.
It's about being authentic, right?
Totally. They can't just slap a spiritual label on their existing offerings.
Yeah.
They need to create experiences that are genuinely meaningful and transformative.
It's about curating those experiences, finding the right balance
between structured programs and allowing for personal exploration.
Okay, so beyond this spiritual tourism angle, though, there's a bigger question at play here, right?
Yeah.
How is MHRAL going to navigate the evolving landscape of leisure travel as a whole?
Right. I mean, we're seeing so many trends emerging.
Personalized experiences, sustainable travel, the rise of the digital nomad.
How do they stay ahead of the curve?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. And they do have a solid foundation to build on.
Yeah. Strong brand, loyal members, a growing portfolio of properties.
But the competition is out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To stay relevant, they're going to have to keep innovating.
Personalizing those offerings.
Leveraging technology to enhance that customer experience.
They've got to be agile, anticipate trends, adapt quickly.
What do you think, like, AI-powered travel assistants?
Oh, yeah.
Virtual reality previews of destinations?
Maybe even like hyper-personalized vacation itineraries.
I mean, technology could be a game changer.
Absolutely, but only if it's used strategically.
Right. It's not about tech for tech's sake.
No, it's about deepening those customer relationships.
Personalizing those experiences,
Yeah.
creating that seamless, anticipatory feeling.
Yeah, that makes a vacation truly memorable.
Exactly.
And we can't forget about sustainability.
Right, that's huge.
Travelers are becoming way more eco-conscious.
They want responsible tourism practices.
So how's MHRAL going to incorporate sustainability into their operations?
It's not a nice to have anymore.
No.
It's essential.
Mm-hmm.
They need to look at everything, from energy efficiency in the resorts
To supporting local communities.
to minimizing their environmental impact.
Sustainability needs to be baked into their business model.
100%.
It's about thinking long-term.
Making sure their success doesn't come at the expense of the planet or the communities they operate in.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the opportunities ahead for MHRAL, but what about the challenges?
Right. What could potentially get in their way?
What roadblocks might they encounter?
Well, one obvious one is the global economic climate.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We're seeing volatility in a lot of markets. Inflation's going up.
Geopolitical events are creating a ton of uncertainty.
All of that could affect travel spending.
Yeah, make it harder for MHRAL to keep growing at the rate they want to.
It's a reminder that even a well-positioned company like MHRL isn't immune to external factors.
They're going to need to be adaptable, adjust their strategies.
Roll with the punches.
Exactly.
And then, of course, there's the competition.
Oh, yeah, can't forget about that.
The timeshare market is crowded. Lots of players vying for those vacation dollars.
So how do they stand out?
They've got to keep differentiating themselves, emphasize what makes them unique.
And find new ways to attract and retain those members.
They got to stay ahead of the curve.
Anticipate what travelers want next.
Deliver it in a way that's both compelling and profitable.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
MHRAL's financial performance, their growth strategies, the challenges they face.
It's a lot to digest.
It is. So I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
Right.
What's resonating with you the most from this deep dive so far?
What's got you thinking? What are you curious about?
So we really dug into the numbers. We've analyzed their strategies and even looked at all that competition they're facing.
Yeah, it's a pretty full picture now.
But you know what really sticks out to me?
What's that?
That whole spiritual tourism thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're onto something there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, vacations aren't just about escaping anymore. They're about connecting with ourselves, with something bigger, maybe.
And if they can really make that work.
Authentically.
Yeah, authentically.
That could set them apart.
Totally. Imagine you combine that luxury and comfort of a Club Mahindra resort.
With, like, a truly transformative spiritual retreat.
It could be huge for them. I mean, think about it. You're not just selling a vacation.
No, you're offering an experience that could really change someone's life.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
But then it makes you wonder, how do they make that work for everyone?
Right. How do they appeal to both those hardcore spiritual seekers?
Yeah, and the people just starting to explore those ideas.
Well, I think they'd have to create different levels of experiences.
Yeah, like what?
Like maybe you have some introductory programs for people who are curious but not ready to fully commit.
Okay.
And then you have like more intensive retreats for those who are looking to dive deep.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout all of it, you maintain that high level of service that Club Mahindra is known for.
Yeah, because that's what they do well, right?
Exactly. But they got to get the marketing right, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This isn't just about saying, hey, we've got spiritual stuff now.
No, it's got to be more than that.
It's about showing people how these experiences can actually transform them.
Yeah, it's a subtle thing.
They're going to need to find the right partners. Build real connections with local spiritual leaders.
Showcase the culture of those places.
It can't feel like a tourist trap.
Right. It's got to feel genuine.
Like a true journey.
It's a tough thing to get right.
Yeah.
But if they can pull it off,
they're onto something big.
This could be their legacy, you know?
Not just building resorts, but creating experiences that touch people's hearts.
And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning.
Maybe they'll branch out into other kinds of experiential travel, too.
Oh, catering to even more specific interests.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
It really is, but I think for you, the listener, the takeaway here is this.
Yeah?
Watch how MHRIL develops this whole spiritual tourism thing.
It could show us where the whole travel industry is headed.
Yeah, away from just buying and selling trips.
Towards something with a bit more meaning.
It's a good reminder that even in the world of finance and business,
there's room for something more.
It is inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We covered a ton of ground, from financial statements all the way to spiritual retreats.
But the journey doesn't end here for you, the listener.
So keep asking those questions.
Keep exploring.
Keep pushing yourself to look beyond the surface.
Who knows, maybe your next deep dives will be into your own heart and soul.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And until next time, keep exploring.